Today I'm going to tell you about Strasburg, Pennsylvania and the railroad attractions there. Why would you want to know about Strasburg? Well, I'm going to tell you why in today's episode. Hi, I'm Roy Smith. In May and June I spent 3 weeks visiting my mother who lives in central Pennsylvania. I did a lot of railroad and model railroad things during those 3 weeks, and I've been telling you about those things in recent episodes. For example, I drove over to Steamtown in Scranton to hang out with my model railroad and YouTube friends there on May 18th and 19th at our first ever big get-together. Steamtown is located about 90 miles east-northeast of my mother's house, and the route is shown here in red. I spent the weekend of June 1st and 2nd in Strasburg. Strasburg is located 120 miles south-southeast of my mother's house, and the route is shown here in yellow. I want to tell you about Strasburg and the railroad attractions there because it looks like next year's big get-together in May 2020 will be held in Strasburg. I'm going to tell you about the attractions there, and I'll put links to each of the attractions down below. I urge you to go to these links to learn a lot more than I can possibly tell you in this video. I'm hoping to meet a whole bunch of you there. In fact, when I was there in June, I ran into a good friend I think most of you know, but I'm going to tell you who it was in this video. Now, with that in mind, let's get started. Strasburg is a small town like so many other small towns in Pennsylvania, with a population of less than 3,000, but it offers some very important railroad attractions, and I'm going to tell you about those railroad attractions in just a bit. Strasburg is located in Lancaster County, which is notable for its large Amish population. You will see them when you go to Strasburg. The Amish immigrated from Switzerland to Pennsylvania by way of Germany in the 1700s and have maintained their traditional ways ever since. You may hear the term Pennsylvania Dutch used interchangeably with the term Amish, but the two terms are not really synonymous. The Pennsylvania Dutch include a number of religious sects who came from Germany. Actually, the term Dutch is a misnomer. It comes from Deutsch, which is German. When these people arrived from Germany, we English speakers couldn't tell the difference between Deutsch and Dutch, so we started calling them Pennsylvania Dutch. The Amish use horse-drawn carriages rather than automobiles, so drive carefully and courteously when you come to Strasburg. By the way, my younger brother, who lives in Pennsylvania, has a lot of Amish friends, and thanks to him, I have been able to ride in Amish carriages and visit Amish farms. Do you remember the movie Witness, released in 1985 and starring Harrison Ford? It's one of my all-time favorite movies. The movie was filmed on an Amish farm near Strasburg. And now we stopped at Katie's Kitchen just north of Strasburg for lunch. I know you'll be going to Strasburg to see trains, and I'm going to tell you about the railroad attractions in a moment. But sooner or later, you'll get hungry, and Katie's Kitchen is a great place to eat. It's an Amish-owned and operated family restaurant. For dessert, try their hot apple dumplings with vanilla ice cream on top. I did, and I'm glad I did. After that, we checked into our hotel, the Holiday Inn Express, near Strasburg's railroad attractions, to rest up for a while. What we did that Saturday evening has nothing to do with trains, but I want to tell you about it because if you go to Strasburg, it is something that you may want to do as well. We attended a performance at the Sight and Sound Theater. I know the performances here are based on epic biblical stories, and if you know me, then you know I'm not religious. But I think you may want to go while you're in Strasburg. As theatrical performances, the shows are beyond amazing. You will be amazed by the panoramic stage settings, the dramatic music, and the special effects. And you'll be amazed by details like horses and goats running right past you in the aisles of the theater, and doves flying overhead. Let me show you the trailer for Jesus, the performance that I attended.
There's a place where stories from the Bible come to life on stage.
This man has lived in darkness, but today he will see the light.
Who exactly is he?
I heard he's merely the son of a carpenter.
This year, Sight and Sound Theaters invites you to experience the greatest rescue story of all time.
He's a miracle worker, a healer, a prophet.
This Jesus is a rebel.
We must stop this radical.
The Pharisees in Jerusalem call him an outlaw.
This would be a very bad time to choose his side.
Everything Jesus does points to love.
Seen by nearly 1 million people in its debut year, the original stage production is returning for one last encore season.
I am changed, and that is who Jesus says I am.
One man did all this.
He is alive in us, and he can live in you too.
Jesus, live on stage at Sight and Sound Theaters.
But I devoted the next day, Sunday, June 2nd, to railroad activities, and that's what I want to show you now. There are 4 railroad activities. All 4 are depicted on this map, and they're all close together just east of Strasburg. The distance from the Choo Choo Barn on the left of the map to the National Toy Train Museum on the upper right of the map is only a mile, and it takes no more than 3 minutes to drive this distance. But of the 4 activities, I only had time for 2 of them, the Strasburg Railroad and the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania, which you see in the center of the map. First, we went to the Strasburg Railroad, and you're not going to believe who I met in the parking lot when I arrived. Yep, that's right. It's Tom Kvichak of Tom's Trains and Things. You may recall that Tom was at Steamtown just 2 weeks earlier. Well, our encounter in the parking lot at the Strasburg Railroad was totally unexpected, but joyous, and went like this.
All right, here we are at Strasburg Railroad, and look who I ran into, Roy Smith. I was heading out, and he was heading in, so...
And Tom yelled, "Who's that guy over there?"
Yeah.
What an unexpected surprise.
Right.
Proving once again that it's a small world.
Yes, it is.
And there's model railroaders everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. We've been all over the place, all over Pennsylvania. We went to Ohio, we went to West Virginia, and we've seen people there,
Wow,
you know.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't been to Strasburg, be sure you get down here because this is a great railroad
Yeah,
place.
it's an amazing place. You get to go on a ride. Just don't come down here when they do the Thomas train.
Everybody will be here that day.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Well,
Hey,
good to see you,
Tom,
Roy.
what a way to start the day. Tom's got some great videos about Strasburg on his channel. And if you're one of the few remaining people on the planet who hasn't subscribed to Tom's channel, then you should. I'll put a link to his channel down below. All right, enough of this tomfoolery, as they say. Let me take you on a train ride. The train is returning from one of its runs to the town of Paradise, Pennsylvania, and back, a round-trip distance of 9 miles. We have to buy our tickets for the next run, and we do that right here at the station. If I remember correctly, there are 7 runs on Saturdays and 5 on Sundays in May, but otherwise the number of daily runs depends on the day of week and time of year. You can buy a combination ticket here for both the Strasburg Railroad and the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania across the street at a reduced price. This is our coach. Leonore has found a seat. So we're riding on America's oldest operating railroad with a fleet of steam locomotives and 20 or so carefully restored passenger cars. Throughout the ride, there is an audio commentary describing interesting facts and history about the railroad. On the trip, the train passes by the Amish farms and countryside of Pennsylvania. At one point, the train stops. The engineer blows the whistle. You hear not only the whistle itself, but also the echo of the whistle. Now back at the station complex following the ride, there are several gift shops and a snack bar. I bought this hat in one of the gift shops just for fun. And there's this kiddie ride. Now the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania is right across the street from the Strasburg Railroad. So you can just walk over without having to move your car. The museum houses one of the most significant collections of historic railroad equipment in the world, including more than 100 locomotives and cars, many of which have been restored to their original condition, some of which are inside the museum and some of which are outside. A pedestrian bridge on the second floor provides a great overview of the equipment. You can wander among the locomotives and cars, and you can even climb up on and into some of them. Sparky, this one's for you. And to my surprise, I came upon a large HO scale model train layout on the second floor of the museum. I wandered around and around it. It was fully automated, so the trains ran and stopped without any human assistance. There were descriptive signs posted around the layout, but I guess I was so fascinated by the trains themselves that I didn't pay much attention to the signs. I wish there had been someone there to talk to about it, and I wish I had paid more attention to the signs, because now I can't tell you who built it, and I can't tell you much about the geographic area it represents, although I believe it represents the Middle Division of the Pennsylvania Railroad. I will certainly learn a lot more about it the next time I'm there. Now you've seen the two attractions that I was able to visit, but as I said, there were two other attractions which I didn't have time to visit. These included the Choo Choo Barn, which features a 1,700 square foot layout, and the Strasburg train shop right next door. And I didn't have time to go to the National Toy Train Museum, which houses 6 train layouts of all scales and a massive collection of toy trains from the 1800s to present. You can be sure I will be going to all 4 attractions the next time I'm in Strasburg. Also, I may try to stay at the Red Caboose Motel the next time. I would be able to sleep in one of the motel's 38 fully restored cabooses. There are 2 things I want you to watch out for when you go to Strasburg next year. One is the attractions close at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, so don't get caught on time like I did. The other is your favorite restaurant may be closed on Sunday. Again, I'm putting links to all of the attractions down below. Click on those links to learn a lot more. I hope you will start planning to go to the big get-together at Strasburg next year in May 2020. I really enjoyed it there, and I'm pretty sure you will too. Besides, I want to be able to hang out with you there. Be sure to watch for more information about the Strasburg get-together on Sparky 107.107's channel, because he will be busily organizing this event just as he did for the Steamtown event. I'll put a link to Sparky's channel down below. By the way, if you're not planning to drive to Strasburg as I will be doing, then you should know that the nearest airport is Harrisburg's International Airport, 40 miles away. Harrisburg is the capital of Pennsylvania. And the nearest Amtrak station is in Lancaster, 10 miles away. Now, be sure to subscribe if you're new here and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes on this channel. Starting with next Saturday's episode, I hope to get back to work on my layout. Until then, happy railroading. Thanks for watching today. I'm Roy Smith, and I will see you again very soon.